In this video, we're going to be talking about Rainbird's a rotating sprinkler known as both the Mini Paw and the Maxi Paw. First up, we're going to go through how to adjust it. I'm going to show you how to adjust the arc, which is the side-to-side pattern of it, and also the radius, which is the distance that the head sprays out. Then I'm going to show you how to replace the nozzle on the Maxi Paw, and then I'm going to show you how to take the gear set out of the case itself for repair and replacement. And then at the end, for our school students, I'm going to go into just a few tips and tricks about the rotor itself and a little bit of data on how to choose the appropriate nozzle and so forth. Let's talk about adjusting this rotor. First, I'm going to show it to you dry here on the guts that I've taken out from another unit. And then I'm going to show it to you dry here, and then we're going to set it wet. But let's just talk about the parts here. You have these arc adjustment stops, which are really just C-clamps around this main pole there. And if we want to move them, we have to push on the direction that it's going, because if we push on this, it just closes up and won't move. So we open it up when we push it. Let me show you. Like right here, let's move this out of the way. See, we've got this piece right here. If we push on this side, it's not going to move, so we push on the direction it's going, the far piece of this arc adjustment stop, and it allows it to move back and forth. And we have two of them. And generally what we're doing here is just setting the right and left limit, because you have this thing here called the trip pin that constitutes the right and left limits of it. There's no set right or left limit. So as we're setting, one thing you may see sometimes is this is loose down in there, and we have a tool here that will tighten it up and also remove this. But let's go ahead and do the dry adjustment here. This piece here has a little end on it that's made to get this up out of here, but I find that it's not thin enough. I usually just use the Rainbird tool and kind of pry it down in there. It just takes a little bit of getting to. Okay, now we pull it up from here, and we see here on this one our trip pin, and we have our arc adjustment stops down inside of here. And I'm going to go ahead and set these kind of where I want it and push our trip pin down in there. Let's drop it. So let's turn on the head, and we're going to wet adjust it now. All right, let's get down here and see what's actually going on. Okay, we can see the trip pin going back and forth and touching the arc adjustment stops. Now, if I wanted to adjust the right limit, I'm going to go over here to the left side. And if I want my right limit to come back to this side, I'm going to push it a little further this way so the trip pin goes further over. Now let's say I want to pull this left limit back this way. I'm going to go to the right side and push this arc adjustment stop over a little bit. And so we've adjusted that, and then if we want to bring that back in, we can come over here and pull this stop back and then shorten up that considerably. And one thing I should mention here is that if you compress these all the way down and let it go all the way around, you can get it down to a minimum of 20-degree arc. But you can open this thing all the way up to 360-degree arc. All you've got to do is flip this trip pin up to where it doesn't catch your stops any longer. And now we've got a 360-degree pattern. Now let's adjust our radius, or how far that this is throwing out, okay? We can adjust this by up to 25% by turning this little radius reduction screw Okay, we're back here in the studio and I'm going to show you how to take this apart and change the nozzle. Some of these things I just like to do in a better, drier, cleaner environment, because if we were bending over or down out there, maybe I couldn't get as good a shot as I can get here. But I want to show you, before we take this out of the can, I want to show you what's happening down inside of there. Is that there's this six-sided nut, or it's kind of a spring-loaded nut here, that when you've got the top of this pulled up out of the can, this is going to be compressed. And we have our impact sprinkler tool here that has this wrench part on it, but it also has this U-shaped round part here. And the wrench part of it goes here, but then there's this little notch out in the shaft here that this has to fit into for everything to work right. So when you've got this down in the can and you're trying to feel it in, this is what we're trying to do, is match this up here and then slide that onto there. And it's going to look something like this when it gets on there. Now, you really need to do it in a way where it's not, you don't have your trip pin and arc adjustment stops in the way. So like, let's do it this way so it's more visible. And that's what it looks like down in the can there. So let's take it apart as it would be in the ground. Okay, now as we're dealing with this, almost always this is going to be buried to ground level. Rarely are we going to get to deal with it like we're seeing it here in the videos up out of the ground on a test rig, but it's going to be buried, so we're going to have to kind of deal with it and try to prevent stuff from falling down in here as we work with it. But you're going to need a blade or a screwdriver or something to get this top up. So you just basically push it down in here till you can get up underneath this. Some of the older models had a notch to where you could do that. These newer ones don't appear to have that, but you just grab it with your fingers and pull it out, and now you have to hold it up against the spring. Okay, and that's what we're doing here. And like I mentioned before, it's good to make sure that your slapper and all of this stuff is out of your way here, so that when you go in with your tool, you can just kind of slide it down in there and kind of feel it sit down on that six-sided little nut piece and push this up against the shaft, and boom, easy breezy. And now we can just take this apart. And it just unscrews and you lift it straight out. Now with this tool, you can just lift this up out of here and change the nozzle without having to take this apart. But it's not that big of a deal to take apart. And you know, this has got an O-ring on it here. Just make sure it's clean when you put it back together. But if I'm going to change the nozzle on this, I just take this part out. Like I said, it's doable in here, and most people just change the nozzle in the case. But all things being the same, and you ain't got stuff rushing back in here, or if it's a bad situation, just go ahead and take it apart. So let's take this off here. And I want to show you a couple of things here. That there's a little plate here. Let's see if we can see it in the video. And it kind of relies on the position of the trip pin. If you can see that plate going up and down. So we can push this trip pin forward to get that plate down, so that this little slapper piece moves over it, because over here where the nozzle is, we have to move this back out of our way. Now the colored piece is the nozzle, and we're going to kind of pull it up and turn it counterclockwise to get it out of here. And if it's, you know, like I said, if it's a dirty situation, or this is an older head, this nozzle may be hard to get out of here. But you can take both of your fingers and kind of push and turn at the same time, and it comes out counterclockwise. But there's two places that there's little notches. There's one on this side, and this piece fits into a little notch over there. So if you can't get it with your fingers, take your Rainbird spray tool and just kind of pop this side off over here, and then use the little notch on the side of your tool to come underneath it, and you can just reach in here and pop it up and over. So, and then you take it, turn it counterclockwise, and then lift it up and out of here. Now, your diffuser screw has to be fully withdrawn here, because if it's all the way over here, you're not going to be able to get your nozzle out. So you might have to withdraw your diffuser screw, but then you just get your new nozzle, whatever you choose. We've got the chart there for you. You put this in here, push it back down, turn it clockwise until you feel it click, and then you can let go of everything and you have a new nozzle in there. Now, let me show you the spring. And so what we have to do here is there's a little coiled spring that has a hook here, and this ships in position A. But position A is for the yellow and beige nozzles. For the blue, red, and black nozzles, we're going to need to move this hook over here to position B. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I mean, it's not terribly difficult either. It's just that you've got to take your thumb and forefinger and kind of reach around on this hook and then rotate it to where you see that hook kind of lift up and off of it. And then when it comes off, you can just kind of move it over and then drop it back onto that B position. And there we go. Now there's a little nub there with a notch in it. That's not the B position. The B position is actually over and down a little ways, kind of on the side of that little notch there that's on this slapper piece. And so for these two sprinkler heads, the Mini Paw and the Maxi Paw, the number one thing that happens to them is they just stop turning, right? Obviously, it's a rotator, meaning it's going back and forth, it's rotating, it's oscillating in its pattern. So sometimes it just stops working. And the first thing that a technician will do is run out and get another one and come back and usually just replace the guts so you don't have to dig the whole thing up out of the ground. But they replace the guts and wonder why it still is not working. Well, I got a new head. Well, generally, unless the head is just so old, 25, 30 years old, and is just wore out or it's defective or broken or something, the reason it's not turning is that the pressure in the flow is not in the recommended range. Okay, for the Mini Paw, you have a recommended pressure range between 25 to 50 psi. And if you look at their performance chart, they give you the numbers up to 55 psi, but you have to read the fine print there that says that they want the inlet pressure to stay under 50 psi, between 25 and 50. So as you're going out and diagnosing why this Mini Paw or Maxi Paw isn't turning, what you're going to need is a good oil-filled gauge with a couple of threaded bushings so that you can take the head off and check to see if the pressure is within the recommended limits. And I'll give you the flow and all of that stuff here in a minute. But also, one of the things that'll happen and what you have to do in maintenance is, I've got this one taken apart. I'm going to show you why in just a second here. But as these things retract back down in there, you know, they pop up out of the ground and do their thing. And then when they retract back down, a lot of times they'll pull sticks or just debris or leaves and stuff back down in here, which can get inside of these mechanisms that turn and slap around inside of here and can mess up the pattern. So that's just one of the things that you watch out for when doing maintenance on these. But let's talk about the two different kinds of products. You've got the Mini Paw and the Maxi Paw. The Mini Paw is the smaller version. It only has a 1/2 inch bottom inlet and a 1/2 inch side inlet. And I've got the case here for a Maxi Paw. And what's interesting about the Maxi Paw is within the same inlet, it has both a 3/4 inch and a 1/2 inch threaded inlet on the bottom. So you can hook it up either way, and the side inlet's always 1/2 inch. So there's a warning about the amount of flow that you need to get to this head. If you're using just the blue, red, and black nozzles, it's no worries because your flow will be able to be satisfied by 1/2 inch fittings and a 1/2 inch flexible pipe or a 1/2 inch nipple or something like that. But if you go to the two larger nozzles, which are the yellow and the beige, those get you up to 5, 6, up to 8 gallons per minute, which just can't be satisfied with 1/2 inch fittings or a 1/2 inch connection piece or whatever. So that means that you have to go to either a 3/4 inch nipple and hard pipe this into the pipe, or you have to go with something like a swing joint here, which is 3/4 inch and will flow up to 8 gallons per minute, which would satisfy that largest nozzle on here. So if you're going to do that and use those two larger ones, then you definitely have to use the 3/4 inch connection. The Mini Paw only has the 1/2 inch connection. Now, the Maxi Paw, it used to come with 7 nozzles. And you can still buy the packages on Amazon that have the 7 nozzles in them. And the 2 extra ones, if I remember correctly, are low angle nozzles. When I did the first version of this video, you could still get in the professional shops the 7 nozzle package, and so I don't have any of those nozzle trees around anymore, but I believe those 2 extra were the low angle nozzles, which you just don't get anymore. You just get 5 nozzles with the Maxi Paw, and the Mini Paw only comes with a pre-installed blue nozzle, which is your 3 gallon per minute nozzle. So with the Maxi Paw, your pressure is going to need to stay from 25 to 60 psi. Its range is from 32 foot to 45 foot. The Mini Paw is a little bit shorter than that, so you kind of have the differentiation between the patterns and how far it'll throw. And the flow range is between 2.2 gallons per minute up to 8.4 gallons per minute. On the Mini Paw, what your range is there is you have a radius range of 35 foot to 41 feet, and the gallon per minute range, your flow range is from 2.8 to 4.1 gallons per minute. So with the Mini Paw, you just have a less range of flow, of pressure, and the radius range is quite a bit shorter or smaller than the Maxi Paw is going to give you.